You are here with By the Cover. Today I'll be reviewing Lostboy by Christina Henry. This book was 292 pages and took me 2 days to read. I would rate this book a 9 out of 10. This review may contain spoilers, so if you do not want to hear those, click off now. The synopsis. Lostboy follows Jamie, one of Peter Pan's Lost Boys, who begins to grow increasingly disenchanted with Peter as he slowly grows up. Before diving into my review of Lostboy, I need to provide some context by talking about the original Peter Pan book, which I read not too long ago. My feelings about that book strongly influenced my experience with this one. To be blunt, I found Peter Pan to be one of the worst books I've read. I ended up giving it 1 out of 10. While I still appreciate the general premise, the novel differs significantly from the movie adaptation in ways I did not enjoy. It was disappointing to see such a magical concept feel stripped of any charm or personality. Here are some of my main issues with the original book. The writing style felt extremely dry. It often seemed like the author was simply reporting events rather than telling a compelling story. The characters lacked personality, which made it difficult to stay engaged or feel immersed. The prose didn't flow well, and at times it felt unnecessarily difficult to read, almost as if it were intentionally written that way. The tone was much darker than the movie, portraying characters like Peter Pan and Tinker Bell in a far less likable light, and the setting itself suffered from the same lack of vibrancy, making the world feel lifeless rather than magical. Overall, the original Peter Pan just didn't capture the sense of wonder I had expected, which made it a frustrating read. So this is the background for me going into Lostboy. As far as my likes with the book, this is the first Christina Henry novel I've read that I consider an absolutely great book. It had a great plot that was well thought out and felt planned, not just thrown together, which is one of the issues I've had with Christina's previous works that I've read. The book had a great balance of interweaving ideas from the original story fused with unique ideas from Christina Henry. I loved how the story both felt very dark but also very magical as well, retaining some of the feel of the Disney version. The pacing of this book was excellent. It held my attention and kept me engaged from start to finish, from the gripping prologue to the final page. The book's character work is exceptional. It doesn't just describe the characters, but reveals who they are through interactions with others. This gradual development builds a strong emotional connection, making the story especially impactful in the end. I thought the environment and world building was done very well, retaining a magical feel to the environment, but also not glossing over the fact that this is a harsh world full of consequences. The book had several compelling antagonists. I thought the Many-Eyed were awesome. After reading the original Peter Pan, which painted Peter as an absolutely horrible person, I was on board for him being the villain in this book, and I did not see that as a stretch at all. I think in the end this book has a lot to say, and I was drawn to the overall message, which solidified a deeper personal connection with the book. I absolutely loved the battle scene on the beach and the subsequent scene of the group tending to their dead. This scene was one of my favorites, not just from this book, but from any book in general. It was very, very well done. Lastly, I thought the book had a really great ending. A couple of my dislikes. The book was slightly repetitive. This did not have a great impact, as there wasn't much of it, but it is something to mention. And lastly, I do not like the cover I have. I like the cover that is in the thumbnail of this video a lot more. I absolutely loved this book. While I've sometimes struggled to connect with the characters in Christina Henry's other works, the character development here was outstanding, making this my favorite of her books so far. The plot was equally well executed, and the story felt fresh, original, and genuinely engaging. A fantastic achievement by Christina Henry. That's about it. We'll catch you later.